And welcome to News Panorama, coming to you live from NTA Jos Network Center. Ministerial Technical Team inspects facilities for takeoff of National Orthopedic and Accident Hospital Jos. Plateau government expresses concern over potato blight, takes steps to address the challenge. Industrial Training Fund promises to sustain efforts towards manpower development. I am Zenret Dingmun. Thanks for joining us today. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our YouTube channel, NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page, NTA Network News, Twitter at NTA News Now, and Instagram, NTA Network for updates. The Joint Action Committee, JAC, of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and Associated Institutions, NASU, and Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, has announced the suspension of its ongoing strike, effective from Wednesday, 24th August 2022, for initial 2 months. This follows the conclusion of negotiation between JAC and the federal government team led by the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu. A statement by JAC spokesperson Peters Adeyemi stated that the 2 months is to allow government to implement the agreements reached. Part of the agreement is the decision of the government to set aside the sum of 50 billion naira for the payment of earned academic and earned allowances, cogent decision on the university peculiar personnel payroll system, release of the white paper on university visitation panel, and funding of universities. The statement added that on the salary payment system, the minister said the alternative payment systems provided by ASU, JAC of NASU and SANU did very well. He added that the federal government is awaiting the report of the technical committee it set up before taking action on the matter. The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, has extended the enforcement of revocation order on broadcast stations owing the commission from 24 hours to August 23, 2022. In a statement signed by the Director General Balarabe Shehu Ilela, the extension is due to the appeal by the affected broadcast stations, relevant stakeholders, public-spirited individuals and organizations. Balarabe Shehu Ilela said affected stations who failed to defray their debts on or before August 23, 2022 have been directed to shut down by 12 a.m. on August 24, 2022. The 52 stations are owing the commission about 2.6 billion naira. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, says military is winning the battle against banditry, kidnapping and terrorism in the country, as most bandit camps in thick forest have been completely destroyed and security personnel will not relent until terrorists are flushed out from their hideouts. The Chief of Army Staff said this in Kachia, Kaduna State during exercise Camp Highland, while encouraging the 69th Regular Cadets of the Nigeria Defense Academy to take the advantage of the training to contribute their quota in entrenching sustainable, lasting security in the country. Umar Ajingi reports.
Thick inside the forest in Kechia, the graduating cadets spend days receiving practical military training to confront the enemies in a real-world situation. Armed with military arsenal to demonstrate dexterity in the discharge of their professional responsibilities. It is a military tradition signifying the end of the training of cadets expected to pass out soon. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, said dealing decisively with criminal elements remains top priority of the Nigerian army.
All of us who have gathered here are proud of you and will be waiting to see what you will deliver, what you will bring to the table. I have no doubt that you can deliver and you will. For the rest of this criminal that will still be around before you pass out, if there are even some left, you will conclude it. You hear? Yeah. And for the criminal and bandits, we'll talk to you in the language you understand.
The Chief of Army Staff assured Nigerians of their determination to end insecurity in the country. In Kaduna, Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
The Kebbi Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has solicited for closer collaboration with Makera, a suburb of Birnin Kebbi, in curbing smuggling activities in the area. The controller of the command, Joseph Atta, said this when he reached out to leadership of the community as part of strategies now in use to achieve the desired result. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu reports.
The interactive meeting with the community leaders is to brainstorm on the possible ways of enhancing border patrol and checkmating illegal smuggling that intelligence shows is thriving along that route. Addressing the Makera community leaders, the controller solicited their support in the task of revenue collection and anti-smuggling operations. He added that the platform provides better understanding between the Nigeria Customs Service and the host community, promising that the service will continue to demonstrate sensitivity to community concerns, as anything that affects the community will also affect the service performance and responsibilities to the Nigerian people. He charged them to partner with him to become vanguard and agents of change in their immediate communities.
The relationship between customs and the great people of Mekara will improve. I am particularly pleased with the comments of the local government administrator or the representative of the local government administrator and even the representative of the traditional heads that have given specific instructions to the youth not to support smugglers. When you create passage for smugglers, you are supporting, you are aiding, and you are abetting. And the law is against that.
I'm assuring and I'm giving confidence, I'm building it, confidence to all the security agencies.
Stakeholders at the forum commended the hosting of the meeting, which they described as the first of its kind in the area. Abdullah Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
Plateau State is known to be the major supplier of Irish potato to all parts of the country. The recent outbreak of potato blight is, however, affecting production. Sadat Mohammed Kafa examines the effect of the disease on consumers.
Potato blight is a disease caused by a fungus-like organism that spreads rapidly through the foliage and tubers of potatoes. With the outbreak in Plateau State, the National Agricultural Seed Council says the disease has affected more than 50,000 hectares of cultivated land in the state, resulting to huge losses.
This incident has caused government to spend a lot in intervention programs, okay? Because being Plateau State being the largest producer or major producer of Irish potato will not just fold its hands to see something like this happening and will not take action.
The disease has also resulted to poor production of potatoes, leading to a hike in price.
Potato die all for farm this year. That is why potato costs. Now they back 25,000 selected. And the small one is 18,000.
As for Plateau State, they said it's a place where if you come, you see Pereiros very cheap. But honestly, when I came this time around, it was very, very expensive. I wanted to buy one bag, but the price is high. But
this is the season of the potatoes, and this time the potatoes is very expensive. Now look at the what I bought now. It's very expensive.
To forestall future outbreaks, government is making efforts towards encouraging farmers on the use of quality and improved seedlings to avert recurrence. In Jos, Sadat Mohammed Kafa, NTA News.
And we have in the studio to talk more on the potato blight is the Plateau State Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Hosea Finangwe. Sir, welcome to Panorama.
Thank you very much, and good morning, listeners.
So, sir, farmers in Plateau State this time around experienced potato blight, which affected production, and we wanted to shed more light on this.
Yeah, I want to use this opportunity to thank you for the opportunity given to me to shed light on the issue of late potato blight incidents in Plateau State. You will all agree with me that Plateau State has actually been blessed with good weather. I'm talking about the near temperate weather that favor the production of potato on the Plateau State, and so giving us opportunity to produce more than 90% of the potato that is consumed in Nigeria. Unfortunately, for the past 7 years, where His Excellency Barrister Bakula don't have to take a very decisive action to ensure he promote the production of potato in Plateau State by going to access a facility from the African Development Bank to the tune of $11.2 million. This has actually encouraged a lot of people who have gone to go into potato production. So any slightest effect on the potato would generally affect the number of farmers who have actually engaged in potato production. We, at the side of government, I have to, as a commissioner, I have to set up a committee to bring me a report after going around, and that report was given to me. What I did was to communicate my principal with His Excellency, and we also forwarded the report, the interim report, to the Minister of Agri, and we also did that also to the Executive Director, National Root Crop Research Institute, through the Executive Secretary of the Agri Research Council, Professor Sharubutun. And we requested them to come to Plateau State, and the minister directed them, and they came here for a 5-day study tour to understudy the challenges in Plateau State. Secondly, to interface with the farmers on the Plateau State to ensure that we look for a lasting solution. Permit me to use this opportunity to say that the colossal loss experienced this year has been very devastating to our farmers who have actually imbibed the habit or the industry of potato as a means of improving their income, their livelihood, and as well as creating job opportunities. Quite unfortunately, this year has been different. And whatever affects our farmers affects us. Let me say that about 150 hectares of land were actually cultivated for the production of potato in this rainy season. Talk about the rain-fed season. Out of that, about 30 to 40, in fact, specifically 35% on the average was affected, giving us about 52,000 hectares of land that was affected by this particular challenge. And about 200 farmers were actually affected. And we know quite well that the activities of farmers here is manual kind of activity. It is not actually mechanized. And that, so we have to cost the operational cost of the farming, and that is to say 350,000 naira per hectare if you're going to use a manual one. If you're going to use a mechanized, it's going to be 500,000 naira. So by the time you multiply 52,000 hectares by 350, you have almost 18 billion naira. That is a colossal loss based on our own assessment. And that's to tell you that Plateau State this year is worst hit as long as the issue of potato blight is concerned.
Okay, so following the reports that you got, what seems to be the problem, and what are you putting in, and what are the steps government are putting in place to ensure that this does not happen again?
Yeah, first and foremost, I said, is to set up a committee to look into the issue and to report to our principal, and also to report to the ministry that has the mandate for the agricultural activities in Nigeria, and then also scale it down to the institution or the institute that has the mandate for root crop, which is the Root Crop Research Institute. Here we are privileged because we have a program that is domiciled in Plateau State, which is a Kuru. So we have been interfacing with them, but the major challenge of potato is one, the issue of poor management practice. If you go and use a seed that's already infected by this particular fungal disease, you are likely to promote the growth. Number two, if you also intercrop maize with potato, you are promoting the growth. Thirdly, the issue of diluting using the diluent to reduce the concentration of the, or to maybe to mix the concentration of the chemical, most especially what we have as glory, has actually been the fungicide that has been used. But because farmers, one, for ignorance, they don't know how to reconstitute it. Number two, they don't even know the period of application. For instance, if they say apply it weekly and you're applying it once in 2 weeks, you know that you're not actually meeting up. And secondly, if you say use so quantity of water, 1 liter to dissolve, and then you're using 2 liters, you're compromising. So these are challenges we are also having. The fourth one is the affordability. Only few farmers have the capacity, the world without, to procure the herbicide, the fungicide. So sometimes the farmers are not willing to do that. So these are some of the challenges that are actually causing the potato blight. But the major causative agent or germ that is causing is a fungal infection. And glory fungicide has actually been used to address the problem. However, because of the compromise, this particular disease has developed resistance. So we have no choice than to also go back to the drawing board and see how to address it. So when the experts came to Plateau State, what we did was we took them around, we saw it, we also brought them to interface with the stakeholders, and then they were able to devise ways of addressing this potato blight. And then we were able to categorize them into 3. 1 is the short term, 2 is the medium, and the third one is the long term. So for the short term, we have no choice than to encourage farmers to go for viable seeds. And you can always go do that through the seed council, and then you can also come through PADP for guidance, because we have extension officers where His Excellency Barasamu Bakola has given us about 400 ad hoc staff who have been trained to assist in the area of education, sensitization, and also trying to take this innovation. Number 2 is how to use the fungicide. We also have been training our farmers, our extension officers, to guide our farmers. But we'll still also appeal to the farmers to adhere strictly to the laid down procedures. If you compromise with it, certainly you are going to also have problems. So from the absence of seed to the application of the fungicide, we see appeal that farmers can still apply the glory or the fungicide twice in a week. And if you do that, I want to assure you, you have no problem with potato blight. Those who actually adhere to it had less problem. And then on the medium term, researchers have been tasked with the responsibility of identifying, raising seedlings that are actually devoid of these particular challenges. So we have tissue culture laboratory, 1, which was being sponsored by the African Development Bank, and then secondly, we have the national one here in Kuru. The major reason for bringing these tissue culture laboratories to help in cleaning the varieties that we have here, the local varieties. We clean them to make sure that we give it to farmers that are disease resistant. And then on the long term, we want to develop a disease resistant variety that would give it to our farmers. And in that case, you don't need to spend money on buying fungicide to treat your potato.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Joseph Anangoy, for finding time to come and give us this insight.
Thank you very much.
Panorama will continue after this break. Do stay with us.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
With us on Panorama. Moving on, following the passage of a bill into law for the establishment of National Orthopedic and Accident Hospital JOS by the National Assembly, a 7-man ministerial technical team assessors has visited Plateau State and inspected 2 critical facilities preparatory for the takeoff of the hospital. Bilkisu Nuhu has more.
The assessment exercise is key towards improving the healthcare system across the geopolitical zone of the Federation. To achieve this goal, a team of assessors from the Federal Ministry of Health, with the support of the Plateau State Government through the Ministry of Health, inspected facilities of the Old Jos University Teaching Hospital and the remodeled General Hospital Barikin Ladi for suitability purposes.
We are fortunate to have a national orthopedic hospital that is meant for the North Central Zone. Place in Jos. So they came to assess, to see the suitability of the site, and secondly, to see the readiness. How ready are we for the project to take off? If it is the old Jude is going to be a temporary site, so that's what it's supposed to be, then a permanent site. If they decide to use this place, this will be a temporary and a permanent site. So if that is it, that means the state government would have contributed so much to build this structure up like this.
Having done this critical assignment, the team led by Dr. Andrew Noah is expected to submit its report to government. The hospital, which is under the control of the Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board, will be affiliated to the Jos University Teaching Hospital to provide specialized treatment and medical services. In Jos, Bilkisu Nuhu, NTA News.
Director General National Emergency Management Agency NEMA Mustafa Habib Ahmed says the house-to-house monthly distribution of food items to the victims of insurgency in the northeast has been rewarding, especially in the area of humanitarian crisis bedeviling the area. The NEMA boss stated this at the continuation of the monthly food distribution in Maiduguri as part of activities marking the 2022 World Humanitarian Day, where President Muhammadu Buhari unveiled more food items in the spirit of the day. Ilyas Yakubu reports that the policy began 5 years ago.
Insurgency in the northeast will long be remembered due to the high level of humanitarian crisis recorded following the destruction of lives and property, as well as the reduction to the barest minimum the economic viability of the region. Changing these narratives has been the utmost priority of President Muhammadu Buhari. Apart from winning the war, the present administration has also been managing the explosion of humanitarian crises and rebuilding the destroyed areas. These house-to-house monthly distribution of food items, launched by Vice President Yemi Oshibajo in June 2017, experts say has resolved almost all the humanitarian crises in the area. The internally displaced persons say their hope has been rekindled and commended NEMA for the transparent manner in which the food items are being distributed.
Mun gode da kungiyar da take ba mu abincin nan dai zan ce NEMA. Mun gode mata sosai da sosai, ta harfa mana asirin mu, ta harfa asirin ƴaƴanmu.
Ina godiya sosai ma NEMA. Ba muna godiya ma shugabanmu da suka kama abincin nan.
Mun gode, alhamdulillah mun gode. Shukuran. Allah ya baru kwallo mun gode.
Muna godiya sosai da abin da ana yi mana.
It's a very long journey. We started this thing for almost 5 to 6 years ago. So we have already established and exist a working relationship with them.
The 2022 World Humanitarian Day, with the theme "It Takes a Village to Raise a Child," was uniquely celebrated in Maiduguri, with President Muhammadu Buhari unveiling more food items donated by NEMA. The victim said the gesture is a clear testimony that the federal government is determined to resolve all issues in the Northeast. From Maiduguri in Borno State, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
Let's join Cynthia Ogun for sports update.
Usually not consolidate on the gains and the victories of the rounds in one. Maybe you could give that to the genius of USEC because he didn't allow him consolidate on